Okay, so your plant has brown tips. And here is the thing nobody tells you. The reason is almost certainly not what you think it is. Brown tips are the single most misdiagnosed plant problem out there, and the most common fix people try actually makes the whole situation worse. So today we are going to walk through every single cause, the exact pattern each one leaves behind, and what you should actually do about it. Before we go any further, I need you to hear this part clearly. Brown tips are almost never a watering problem. That right there is the mistake that keeps people stuck for months at a time. They water a little more, the tips keep browning. They water a little less, the tips keep browning. They get frustrated and start blaming themselves. The truth is that the issue almost always lives in the environment around the leaves, not down in the roots. And the pattern of the browning, the way it looks, where it starts, how it spreads, tells you everything you need to know. So let us get into it. The air around your plant. The first cause is low humidity, and this one is huge, especially if you live somewhere with central heating. Here is what it looks like. The browning starts right at the very tip of the leaf and slowly creeps inward along the edges. The texture feels dry and crispy when you touch it. Not soft, not dark, just papery. The oldest leaves get hit first, and the rest of the leaf stays a healthy green right up until the brown takes over. What is going on here is pretty simple once you understand it. The tip of a leaf is the spot that is furthest away from the plant's vascular system, the network that moves water around. When the air in your room is dry, moisture evaporates off the leaf faster than the roots can pump it back up. The tips run out of water first, and those cells die. Most heated homes in winter sit around 20 to 30% humidity. But Calathea, prayer plants, ferns, orchids, these guys evolved in places where humidity sits at 50% or higher. That gap is exactly what you're seeing on your leaves. So what works? Group your plants together. Each plant slowly releases moisture through its leaves, and when you cluster them, they raise the local humidity around each other in a way that actually matters. A pebble tray filled with water sitting under the pot gives you continuous gentle evaporation right at the level of the leaves. And honestly, a small humidifier running for 1 or 2 hours a day is the most reliable fix for the really sensitive plants. Now here is what does not work. Misting. I know everyone tells you to mist. The water from a spray bottle evaporates in about 3 minutes. The humidity goes right back to where it was. The only thing you have actually done is leave the leaves damp, and damp leaves are the perfect surface for fungal spores to settle in and grow. Misting does not raise humidity. It raises your risk of plant disease. So please, stop misting. The second cause is fluoride in your tap water, and this one catches almost everyone by surprise. It looks pretty similar to humidity damage, but there is a clue. The boundary between green and brown has a slightly yellow tint to it instead of being a clean, sharp line. Older leaves get hit harder because they have been soaking up fluoride for longer. Peace lilies, Calathea, spider plants, and Dracaena are the usual victims. Here is what is happening. Most tap water has fluoride added to it for dental health. At those concentrations, it is totally harmless to people. But certain plants, especially the ones from soft rainfall environments in the tropics, slowly build up fluoride inside their leaf tissue over months of watering. Once it reaches a certain level in the older cells, those cells die. The damage shows up so slowly that nobody ever connects it back to the water. The fix is easy. Leave your tap water in an open container overnight. Chlorine is a gas and dissipates within 12 to 24 hours. Fluoride does not dissipate, so for your sensitive plants, switch to rainwater or filtered water. The existing brown tips will not heal, but the new growth that comes in will be clean and green. The third cause is dry airflow, usually from a heating vent or air conditioner. This one has a very distinct pattern. The browning is much worse on one side of the plant, the side facing the vent. It develops faster than regular humidity damage, and it does not always start with the oldest leaves the way humidity does. It can hit leaves at any stage. Moving air, even gentle moving air, strips moisture off leaf surfaces really quickly. A plant that would happily live at 25% humidity sitting still can develop brown tips in just a few weeks if there is a vent blowing dry air across it. The tricky thing is that the vent does not have to be obviously close. Even a vent 2 meters away can do this. So stand next to your plant and hold up your hand. Feel for any airflow at all. If you can feel even the slightest movement, that is your problem. Move the plant somewhere completely still or put a piece of furniture between the plant and the vent so the air breaks up before it hits the leaves. Water, food, and roots. The fourth cause is good old underwatering, and yes, sometimes the answer really is this simple. The browning shows up along with leaves that feel a bit papery and less firm than they should. Your plant might droop between waterings. And the giveaway, the soil is bone dry all the way to the bottom of the pot. There is one specific underwatering pattern that trips people up, and it is called hydrophobic soil. When potting mix dries out completely over and over, it actually becomes water repellent. So when you pour water in, it just runs straight down the gap between the dry soil and the inside of the pot, never reaching the roots at all. The plant looks like you just watered it, but the roots are still bone dry. The fix here is bottom watering. Sit the pot in a tray of water for 20 to 30 minutes and let the soil slowly soak it up from below. This rehydrates the whole root ball properly and resets the soil so water can move through it normally again. After a couple of bottom watering sessions, the soil will start accepting water from the top again the way it is supposed to. And going forward, try not to let the pot dry out completely for very long stretches, because once that hydrophobic behavior sets in, it takes real effort to undo it. Quick pause. If any of this is starting to make sense of what you are seeing on your own plants, hit that subscribe button. Every week I cover one complete plant topic in exactly this format. The full picture, no fluff. The library is growing, and the goal is that you never have to guess about your plants again. All right, back to it, because number 5 is fertilizer burn, and you can usually spot this one in seconds. The brown tips start appearing or get worse right after you fertilize. And if you look at the soil surface or at the inside of a terracotta pot, you might see a white crusty buildup. That crust is accumulated mineral salt, and it is the smoking gun. Here is why this happens. Fertilizer dosage on the bottle is calibrated for garden plants growing in open soil, where rain and drainage constantly flush away excess salts. In a sealed pot indoors, those salts just keep building up every time you feed. Eventually, the concentration gets high enough that it actually reverses osmosis inside the roots, pulling water out of the plant instead of letting roots take water in. The plant dehydrates from the inside, and the tips are the first place it shows up. To fix this, flush the soil. Pour a large volume of plain water slowly through the pot, let it drain fully, and repeat that about 3 or 4 times. Going forward, always use half the recommended fertilizer strength for houseplants. Never feed into dry soil, and stop feeding completely in winter because your plant is dormant and cannot process the nutrients anyway, because 6 is being root bound. The signs are pretty distinctive. You are getting brown tips, plus you have noticed you need to water way more often than you used to. Roots are starting to poke out of the drainage holes. And after you water, the soil dries out almost immediately because the dense ball of roots inside the pot soaks everything up before there is any chance to hold a reserve. When the root system gets too big for the pot, it just cannot move water around efficiently anymore. There is not enough soil left to hold moisture, and the tips, being the furthest point from the water source, are the first to feel the shortage. You will often notice that the plant just sits there too. Growth slows down, new leaves come in smaller, and nothing seems quite right even though you are doing everything you used to do. The fix is repotting. Go up one size only, no more than 5 centimeters wider than the current pot. Gently loosen any roots that are circling around the bottom before you settle the plant into fresh soil. That fresh soil restores the water holding capacity the plant needs to keep up with its own leaves. Cold, contact, and the final pattern guide. Cause 7 is physical damage and cold contact, and this one looks completely different from everything else. Instead of a consistent tip and edge progression across the whole plant, you get brown patches at specific isolated spots. Wherever a leaf touches a cold window, a cold wall, or has been knocked or bent, that exact spot turns brown. Meanwhile, other leaves on the same plant look totally fine. Tropical houseplants pressed up against single glazed windows in winter are the classic example. Their cells cannot handle temperatures below about 10 degrees Celsius, even for a short time. So just move the plant a few centimeters away from the cold glass and make sure no leaves are pressed against any surface. Easy fix. So here is your quick pattern guide. Run through it and match what you see. Crispy tips starting at the very tip and creeping inward. Dry texture, oldest leaves first, rest of the leaf nice and green. That is low humidity. Same pattern but with a yellowish tint at the boundary, showing up on peace lilies or Calathea. That is fluoride in your tap water. Tips developing fast, much worse on the side facing a vent or fan. That is dry airflow. Brown tips with papery, slightly wilted leaves and soil that is bone dry all the way down. That is underwatering. Tips getting worse after feeding, white crust on the soil. That is fertilizer burn. Tips plus needing to water way more often, roots poking out of drainage holes. That is being root bound. Brown patches at isolated spots instead of a consistent progression. That is physical or cold contact damage. One last thing that really matters before we wrap up. Brown tips do not reverse. Once leaf tissue has died, it stays brown no matter what you fix. So go ahead and trim the brown bits off with clean scissors at a slight angle, following the natural shape of the leaf. That is purely cosmetic, just so the plant looks nicer to you. The real proof that you have fixed the problem shows up in the new growth. When fresh leaves come in clean and green with no browning at all, that is your confirmation that you nailed the diagnosis. 7 causes. The pattern is the diagnosis. Work through the list, match what you see, and the right fix becomes obvious. If you're looking at your plant right now and you still are not sure which one you are dealing with, describe exactly what you see down in the comments. Tell me which plant, where the brown is showing up, and how long it has been going on. I read every single comment, and I will help you figure it out. And if this helped you, hit subscribe. Every week, one complete plant topic in exactly this format. The library keeps growing, and you will not have to guess about your plants anymore.